Yes, my guest is here, thankfully. My man, Ted Rall, political cartoonist, syndicated columnist, host of TMI, Too Much Information with the one and only Manila Chan, the beautiful and lovely Manila Chan. How you doing, Ted? You doing okay this morning?
I am doing good. How are you, Jamal?
I am doing fine. Please get closer to your mic because they're going to start screaming at me. It's like, why is that mic slow?
Yeah,
They're gonna do
I'm
it.
as close as I can be right
Oh, you're
now.
fine. No, no, that sounds better.
Okay, good, good,
That
good.
sounds better. How you doing? You doing okay today? No issues?
Well, there's always issues, but it's as good as it gets, I suppose.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What's wrong?
I a guest was supposed to come on. Um, and I asked her to come on at 7:15,
Mm,
but I have to flip the time zone.
mm.
Now, usually I just tell people ET. That way everybody has a common time zone. They can just look it up for themselves and they can see it, etc.
Sure.
And I guess she sees it and she's like, okay, well, 12:15. And I guess she took it as 12:15 in the morning. And I'm like, boo, I don't do a show at 12:15 in the morning. Why would you think that I would want you on the 12? Like, let's say for the moment, I need to check the email, even if I screwed up and put AM by accident. Why do you think I want you on at 12:15 in the morning?
A quarter after midnight. Right.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
at
yeah.
midnight.
Right, right,
Who
right,
the
right.
hell is doing a show at midnight? Like, even
What
if I
was
put that down, please just say, hey, you're doing a show at midnight.
what was the name of that guy who used to do his show? Maybe he's still around. He
Coast
was
to coast.
coast to coast. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is
He
that
was
what it
on
is for real?
he was on in the middle of the night, right? Like, yeah, with the UFOs, and he was in a
Art
trailer
Bell.
somewhere in like
Yeah, Art
Nevada.
Bell.
Yeah,
Oh, you're speaking my language.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And he was on for like 5 hours a night or something.
Yep. He
Yeah,
would go like it was when things. But see, those are the best shows. And I wanted to do a show like that at the network, by the way. I would have loved to do that show. Like personally, I don't know about you. I like nighttime. Night is
yeah.
my
The
favorite time.
nighttime has a power, no
Yeah.
question.
Yeah,
I
I
would have
like it.
found it rough to do that every single night, like 5 days a week, because I think it was something like I want to say like midnight to 5 a.m. or 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. or something like that. It was,
Mhm.
I mean, that's definitely. Look, I used to drive a taxi, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. 5 6 days a week, so I definitely know what the night shift is all about, and I liked the night shift because there was no traffic,
Yeah.
so you made more money. Uh, but it grinds you down. Human beings are diurnal. We're not supposed to live in that hour. But I mean, now
Dude,
and then it would be fun for sure.
you are preaching to the choir. You're preaching to because for me, it's what time is it? It
Eight
is
thirty
8:30
four Eastern.
p.m.
Yeah.
It's 8:30 p.m. for me.
Okay.
When I finish the show, it's going to be probably around 10:30,
Hmm.
11 o'clock.
Hmm.
And then it's like, okay, now you have to cut the videos. By the time I finish that, it's like 3, 4 in the morning. Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
It's one thing when you do a morning show where you wake up at 7, you finish the show, you may take an hour, and then you cut videos and everything else. It's different when it's 3 a.m. That is a different animal. So I
It is.
agreed. But I think I could do it if it was just on air doing it. Like if
Right.
that
Where
makes
you
sense.
just leave, you just kick off. I used to when I did radio in LA. They started me at the 12 to 3 a.m. slot, and that was I was doing it mostly from New York. So with the 3 hour time difference, piping it in, it was 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. But at 6, I was done. Just went home.
Yo, you
And
just
then
walk.
they kept promoting me. They moved me to because I was doing better. So 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. That was 12 to 3 for me. I'd hit a bar, get a get a couple of drinks, and then go crash. And then they can move me to 6 to 9, so that was 9 to 12, and that was better. And then ultimately
Uh-huh.
ended up 3 to 6 in the afternoon. That was great. 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
all done. You know.
Yeah. No, I feel you. Doing fault lines, it's like 7 to 12. Oh, it's 7 to 10. And some people be like, dude, how can you do that? That is a brutal schedule.
Well, you had a co-host, and that helps. But on the other hand, what
I didn't want to co-host.
what you didn't have at, I get it. What we didn't have at our old deal, is we didn't have ads, and I got to say, or callers. I mean, you had some callers, but I was never allowed to take calls, and I love calls.
Why weren't you allowed to take calls?
What? You remember our boss? I mean, he was a quirky dude, and he was like, no calls. And so we never took a single call. And
Seriously,
I really relate to the calls. I like interacting with the public. So, and also the ads. I mean, when I used to be at KFI in LA, I mean, by the time, I had a successful show. So I probably had 35 minutes of content, either ads or news or traffic or weather. So I was only talking like 25 minutes an hour. Literally, I would have like a segment, 8 minutes, just get in, get out, that's it. And then like you go down the hall and get a coffee or go to the bathroom, and it was great. You wanted to talk more. You're like, I don't really have enough time to talk.
Oh, I see.
But like like at Sputnik, we didn't. There were times where I was like, I could really deal with an ad to go to the bathroom,
Yeah. When Malik did news, that's when I would go get a coffee, go downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like be puttering around outside for the 15 minutes that he's doing the ad.
Yeah, I don't know what smokers do. I mean, it's rough.
Yeah. It was good. I as I pointed out in the article I wrote, Life and Times of a Russian Propagandist, the honor of my life was at that dispatch. I enjoyed it.
Who knows? We might get to do it again.
We'll see.
I doubt it, but
we'll see. I don't know. I was.
I hope so.
It's a good job, and I feel for all of those people that lost that job, because you had like 50 people. I mean, same thing with RT, right? Where you had like 100 people just up in smoke, and the only thing they did was their jobs, and it wasn't.
Yeah. And literally, what's so funny is I've worked in broadcast organizations. I used to work for ABC World News Now in the middle of the night. Speaking of the middle of the night, so I've done television, did radio, KIFR in San Francisco as well, and lots of magazines, newspapers, you name it. So I've seen media, right? I've worked for a lot of organizations. I've never seen less skullduggery or corruption than when working for the Russians. I mean, they were more fact-based, more insistent on doing everything by the books than any other place I've ever worked in my life.
They didn't want to take any chances.
No,
they were
exactly.
Terrified. Yeah, they were terrified. Like, honestly, it was
didn't
like
help. It did not help. They could have played fast and loose with the truth. It would have made no difference, because they had a target on their back. Yeah. When they decide that when they're after you, when the man has his teeth sunk into your ass, he's not letting go. It doesn't matter how good you are, how nice you are, how obedient you are.
You know what? That used to be, and I'm sorry, audience, I know this is inside baseball. It used to be so frustrating, because getting it right, like this guy, a perfect example. This guy has written article after article after article for years, getting it wrong on the Telegraph.
Many people to choose from.
And now he comes out and says, Putin has cemented Russia's status as a great power. Now he's come to Jesus. He's fallen to his knees, head up to the sky. I've seen the light. Putin has made Russia a great power. But for 3 years,
breaking news, it's been 20 years.
Yes. He apparently didn't know that. The point I'm making is there's no consequence for him getting it wrong. None.
Right.
In fact, it's almost like,
you're singing my song. I wrote something about that like a couple weeks ago for my syndicated column, and I argued that there should be like Yelp reviews or Google reviews for pundits, where you can go back and be like, oh, this guy has a 0.7 out of 5 rating because, hey, he said that Iraq had WMDs, and he said, and all that. And, You said that
Yep.
Ukraine was a democracy or whatever, and like you should be able to you should be able to look that up. Like the way it works, it really sucks. Like if you like, I ate one time at a restaurant where I got food poisoning. Right, I not only like never went there again. I told all my friends not to go there. Everyone knew not to go there. Eventually, not just because of me, they went out of business. That's the way it's supposed to work. If you're
Right.
if you're a stockbroker and like you constantly tell your clients, oh, you should buy this, and then like it's Enron and like they lose all their money, you're not going to be a successful stockbroker, right? People are going to find out that you suck. But in punditry, there's no punishment whatsoever. Like you can be like Bill Kristol or Thomas Friedman or Bill Maher, all these people, Ariana Huffington, wrong, and you don't even have to go through a European style like intellectual apology tour where you flog yourself and say, listen, I was wrong, but now I've seen the light. Now I understand. You don't even have to do that. You literally brush it off like ServPro, like it never even happened. You're literally just like, oh, I don't, did I say that? Shut up. And that was, whatever. And then when basically like over a year and a half after, the Israelis have started brutalizing the Gaza Strip, you can come around and you say, this really has gone too far with the starving kids, and then the rest of us who said that on October 8th, we're like, it's like, they're radicals. They're crazy. Like, woo, Ted Rall, Jamal Thomas, lunatics. That's why they have to work for the Russians. No one else will have them because we had made the mistake of constantly being right.
Yes.
And admitting if we screwed up.
It's that part. It's like, we need an affable fella that's going to F it up and get it wrong. Oh, there's that guy. Yeah,
like in Cassandra, the myth of Cassandra, right? Her curse was to always know the future in advance and be right. But now we have a mythology where the people who got it wrong win journalism prizes and collect and live in giant estates on the Potomac, and everybody else gets mocked. It's crazy making.
That's why integrity is expensive. I've said it more than once. Integrity is expensive. Yeah. Like getting it right is expensive. You may not want the guy who gets it right. Like you may want the guy who tells you what you want to hear. And if you are in a Western media that is oriented around a government that has a certain point of view of the world, that is wants that point of view espoused, well, it may not be in your best interest to point out, hey, Ukrainians look like they're losing a lot of people. Okay, we need that guy is a rubber round, so get that guy out, right? Hey, how do we know that they have weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? Hey, it looks like Donald Trump is about to attack Iran, or it looks like Israel is about to attack Iran. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't help when that's not what you want to put out. You don't want to put out what's true. You want to put out.
What's crazy to me, Jamal, is like, think about like a movie reviewer, right? Like, I remember having this conversation with an editor at the New York Times, and he said, well, why should anyone care what Ted Rall has to say, about anything? And I said, well, the thing is, the way it works is it's like a movie reviewer. So if I read Siskel and Ebert, this was an old conversation, and I remember Siskel, I tended to agree with more than Ebert, and like
I agree with Ebert more.
Oh, okay, interesting. But it's not like Ebert was a maniac. He knew his shit, but we had different tastes, and like. Yeah. So, I mean, Ebert was more into genre stuff than Ebert was. And so, anyway, the point is, like, it's like a film critic. If you read the review, you see the movie. You read the review, see the movie. And more times than not, you agree. You're like, oh, yeah, that guy was right. You tend to trust him the next time you read his review. Or vice versa, you don't trust him. Michiko Kakutani at the New York Times, book critic, she was like a compass who faced south. Like anything she said would be good, I knew I would hate, and vice versa. So, but like even that's a sort of a lodestar, right? So that's I think that like the public, that's what's kind of crazy. The public knows, they keep track of like a food critic, and they kind of know subconsciously, oh, this food critic is right or wrong. But they don't do that with us.
It's different, but
They don't look at, say, Bill Kristol and be like, oh God, Or John Bolton, right? There he is again. Always wrong. Always wrong. John Bolton is wrong when he decides where to eat. He's wrong when he decides what clothes to wear. He's wrong about everything. He's wrong about how to do his hair. Wrong mustache.
That porn star mustache, yeah.
Yeah. He's always wrong, that walrus motherfucker. And yet, he's like, he's all over the place. And no one throws shit at the TV and says, fuck that John Bolton. But like, there and he's making all that lucre. I don't understand why but people, ordinary people. I understand the propaganda of the system. I don't understand why ordinary people forget that poor performance of these people.
Because ordinary people are just like those news organizations. And what those people want is to affirm their values. Mark sometimes comes on, he talks about another analyst, and he's like, look, if you want the truth and the black pill, you come to me. If you want a cheerleader, you go to that guy. And he's right. That's the point, right? Like, you go to Fox News to affirm.
I'm only interested in the truth when I watch news or analysis.
Not everybody is that way. Many people.
Like, what else is it good for?
Most people want their views of the world affirmed, not unaffirmed. Like, I give you another example where Rachel Maddow was like, I'm going to have Trump's tax returns. I'm going to have Trump's tax returns. And she gets those returns. And it's like nonsense. It's like ridiculous. Or a better one. When they lose the election and all of those people stop watching MSNBC because they get pissed off that they lost the election. They don't want to hear the bad news. Or they stopped watching MSNBC because they knew that it's not a reliable news source. No, they came back. It was the news. It's when you are watching MSNBC, you're watching Fox News, you're watching a particular channel, you want your views of the world affirmed. Well, it's not like...
So this is what happens with team politics, right? So like people, like when your sports team is winning, the bleachers are full, right? The tickets are sold out, and vice versa. And that's what we have is we have a team. It's rah, rah, go team. And like, that's why, like, for example, there's an article in today's Times about New York Times about how the Democratic Party is bleeding voter registration all over the place, right? And it's really bleak. And I'm like, well, why are they losing? I mean, if the Democratic Party was like what we thought it was 50 years ago, I mean, it wasn't really, but we thought it was like a political movement centered around generically a defense of the working class and the lower middle class, like Joe and Jane Sixpack, then those people are going to be for that, no matter through thick and thin, and they're going to rally. But like, if it's just a team, like right now, there's only two teams, and Team Red is cooler because Team Red is winning. So everyone wants to be on the winning team. It doesn't matter what they stand for. They don't really stand for much anyway.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is true. People do like winners, but
it's like why people don't want to vote for the third party. Oh, I don't want to vote for a third party. They might not win.
Right. My vote might be lost. Mm-hmm. But a person who wants healthcare education is not turning around and voting for Trump. It doesn't matter how cool he gets. Like, so I hope you get what I mean. You may get more independents that are going to turn around and make that vote, but you're not getting liberals. Liberals are just deflated. And I think part of it is kind of, well, I thought these people were something else, and they're not. And so what is the point? So it's not like I think those people are just deciding, I'm giving up my political ideologies and voting for the winner. I think in the Democrats' case, they tell me that they're X, and turns out they're Y. And I don't like the fact that they're Y. So why am I going to vote for them in this case? With Republicans, it's like, we're doing great. Vote for us. But for people, though, think of the Matrix. The Matrix is a really good example. If you remember back in the 90s, you might have had like Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite, he's just giving you the news. He's a newsman. He's not trying to give you a shade, a cut, or anything else. This is what happened. And it's given with God's authority, regardless of, despite that it's a man. And then you get this kind of split when Bill Clinton signs, the communications thing that breaks news and all of these different things. So you can choose, almost like you're choosing a suit or tie. Mm-hmm. I like this news. This affirms my values of the world. And so this is the thing that I'm going to watch because this is what I actually believe. Now, truth may sink in, but it may sink in after 3 years of war where it becomes brimmingly clear that what they've been telling you is a lie. So,
and by then, a whole lot of fucking people are
Yes. but reality asserts itself. But all things being equal, when it's any level of doubt, any level of like even the potential of doubt, then I will give my doubt and continue to watch this thing that affirms my values and views of the world. It's that even in it, art has a tendency to reflect how your society is getting. And in the same way that they had Injustice, where Superman went rogue and it was like the US has gone rogue, in the Matrix, in the latest one that sucks, that hopefully they get rid of and put in an actual real version of the Matrix. The architect, who is this is reality. This is what I am building reality in this kind of objective sense of the word, with your subjectivity F's my reality up. And he goes to the psychologist, where it's like, yeah, we don't really need this hardcore stuff. We just need people's feelings. People's feelings color the world. And so we're going to get energy off of people's feelings. How they feel is the thing that we're effectively functioning with. It's that. It's that. To some degree, we're all subject to it. Just some more than others.
Sure. I mean, I'm very, very suspicious of feelings as a rule. You know, like whenever I'm emotional about, I mean, it's really funny because I'll have this argument with people and they'll be like, but that's my feelings. And I'm like, but I don't trust my feelings. Like I like to try to use as much empirical evidence as possible to make, or to, you know, to take feelings out of the equation. And they're like, you know, and everyone's like, but feelings are important. I'm like, feelings, we can't avoid them, but I mean, I guess feelings are part of the reason that, you know, people look at starving children in Gaza and finally their hearts break.
Yeah.
And I guess that's good. But honestly, you should be able to look at a hungry old dude starving in Gaza and, you know, and have the same sympathy. You really should be able to.
Feelings guide intellect, though. And I'm always mistrustful of people who say they don't trust feelings. I know that sounds wild, right? And
well,
my girlfriend would be like,
yeah.
Look, it's not that I trust the feelings, because even for myself, they lead you astray. But they do guide your thinking. They guide your intellect. Even when your intellect is trying to be applied to something, has to be. There's this book called "Is Data Human?" in Star Trek, and they point out, how does Data make a choice on anything if he doesn't have something that helps guide it? It's not an intellectual thing. It has to be something else there that says this versus this, which your intellect can apply itself upon. It's almost like a.
Sure.
I don't know.
And like, you know, it's I guess you could say, like, for example, intuition. Like, oh, I don't think. I mean, you know, we talked about the Ukraine war at the very beginning and all throughout, and like, you know, you and I both know we had a feeling this was going to end up right where it's ending up, right?
Yes.
That's due to intuition and pattern recognition, and having lived a long life and having seen other similar things play out, and having read history about how things like this played out in the past, and also being able to look at a map and see this country's 20 times bigger than that country, you know?
Yeah, it's wild. And being over the top, and I'm saying I don't trust people who don't trust their feelings. I usually don't trust emotional people either. It's always
yeah, no, I definitely don't trust people.
Yeah, it's like, well, I think it's this. Yeah, but it's not that. Yeah, but you're just being meanie, blah, 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 blah. Let's go to Lord Loomer. We cut a lot of wood to chop.
Speaking of feelings.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
She's just an id.
She is cantankerous. Like, she wears her cantankerousness on her sleeve like it's an identity. It's weird. You know, she's the reason that those visas for those kids in Gaza got killed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Did you hear that? Like, where it was all those kids that were coming into the U.S. from Gaza, that were ill, blown up, sick, injured, etc. And Rubio comes out, it's like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. That was Loomer.
I know.
And apparently, there's a lawsuit where she's suing Bill Maher because Bill Maher said she was having sex with Trump. She felt some kind of way. She's like, you're ruining my marriage.
Well, I mean, if that's not true, I mean, that is a problem for Bill Maher.
Really?
I mean, yeah. If you can't like just sort of say like, hey, you know, this. I mean, it's libelous, right? I mean, you're saying
it's slander to cheat sleep with Trump.
Well, if you're married, sure it is. I mean, it's like you're in our society. I mean, I'm not talking about personally my feelings about it, but I'm talking about like in our society, it is considered reprehensible to break your marital vows. And if you credibly say on national television that someone has broken their marital vows, and a lot of people believe it, and I mean in this case it's like pretty easy to prove. I mean, her husband might leave her over it, right? I mean, so there might be actual damages here. I think if I were Bill Maher, I'd be lawyering up.
Well, it's in a lawsuit.
Yeah. Well, I
but
mean,
he said it as
he said it like, well, how did he say it? Did he say
as a
it
joke?
Like, well, was it clearly a joke? That's
It
going
was
to
a
be
joke.
what it's all about.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
So so if people didn't, if a reason, the judge, then the standard will be, would a reasonable person believe it to be true or not?
See, this is the same energy of Trump suing Bill Maher also, because Bill Maher said Donald Trump was the product of an orangutan. And he showed the two orangutans and showed Trump and said, these things look similar.
Well, a reasonable person would not believe that,
but
because
Trump's sued.
a reasonable person knows that that's not true. Right? So,
but Trump sued him for that. That went to
court. It's motion for summary judgment. Goodbye. It's like, it's not
and Lord Loomer,
it'll be like one hearing,
who may or may not be having a sexual relationship with Trump. Because I don't know. As you point out, a reasonable person may believe it's true, maybe not. Who knows? Who knows? Is now suing him also.
Right. Well, lawsuits abound,
I think this is such an overreach. It's such an overreach. A comedian tells a joke about somebody who seems to have a huge amount of influence with Donald Trump and uses it as a punchline. She, who's on the right, feels some kind of way about the fact that he's a better comedian than her. Well, I don't know what she does for a living, short of being cantankerous. But it's like, I'm going to take him to court and sue him over this. And then outs some of the lawsuit. She put it on Twitter. And in putting it on Twitter, Bill Maher went to court saying, this is outrageous. How are you putting the deposition on Twitter? How are you doing that?
A deposition is a public record, Bill. You know that.
I don't think they're supposed to be putting it's either deposition or discovery.
Unless
it's one or the other.
Unless it's sealed, deposition is part of discovery. Unless it's sealed by the court, it is a public record, and she has every right to do it. Now, unless it's entirely possible it was sealed, I can't imagine why it would be.
Okay,
I bet
it's
she
a
had
deposition.
every right to do it.
Okay, it's a deposition. And the deposition that she puts out, because Bill Maher went to court effectively saying this was a no-no and trying to get her lawyers to say, cut this out. She puts out in her deposition, rude. Well, what she says is, well, I was asked in discovery, and I have to tell the truth in discovery. And I pointed out that I was told by another member of Congress or something that Lindsey Graham is gay. And I had to tell the truth. And so here's it in my deposition. And it's like, okay, that's, I want to call it a C word, but I can't do that. That's horrible. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? That's what I mean, cantankerous, right? It's like you intentionally end up saying somebody that's a source told me that Lindsey Graham is gay. Right. And of course, they make the jokes about
just hearsay anyway.
Well, she's saying that it has to be true because I said it in a deposition in court.
Well, it's true that it's probably true that someone on pain of perjury that someone told him that, right?
It says Trump staff. This is what it says. It says Trump staff have told me in confidence that Lindsey Graham is gay. Hold on, Ms. Loomer. There is no question. I know. I'm just explaining.
Well, it is true that anything you say under oath is supposed to be true.
Oh, that is so wrong.
Let me just tell you, having seen what the LA Times said under oath, I know that's not always true.
Ted, that's so wrong. That's so wrong.
It is wrong. On the other hand, is it really? I mean, everyone knows Lindsey Graham is probably gay, right? I mean,
Well, that's what I said. I was like, did Lindsey Graham ever say otherwise? But still, this is kind of
Right.
grotesque.
I mean, he's not married or anything. Not that that's like the standard, but is he?
I'm just saying it is royally screwed up. It's like, Miss Loomer, nobody asked you the question. I know, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. I'm just
By
making
the
it clear.
way.
Yeah, but just by the way, I just want you to know. Ted, man, I always enjoy these conversations, man, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, man. Honestly.
Sorry things were rambly. It's a little bit my fault today, but all right.
That's not your fault. I'm the one that brought up the thing. It's the host's responsibility to keep it, and I enjoy it.
That's true. That's true. I would say that under oath. Okay.
Ted Rall, political cartoonist, syndicated columnist, host of TMI with Manila Chan. You also have another show with John Kiriakou, another damn good one.
Right. Yeah, it's called Deprogram, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern.
Badass, man. You have a good one, okay, Ted? Thank you.
Thanks. You too. Take care.
Be safe.
Bye.
All right, Ted